Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is day 97, Thursday. Thank God tomorrow's Friday. My goodness. June the 9th, 2017. Well, you know, when I make a mistake, I'll be the first to admit it. And I told you in yesterday's video, and I've been telling you for the past couple days, that James Comey's hearing would produce nothing. Just a big nothing burger. Nothing would come out of it. And I was wrong. There were actually several major bombshells today. And I'll touch on those in just a moment. But first, I just want to tell you a little bit about the video thing that's going on here. Obviously today's video, or last night's video I should say, Thursday's video did not actually get uploaded until almost 9 o'clock at night. And just so you know how I try to do my videos, because I know some of you, try to, time my videos, you expect to see them come up at a certain time of day, and I try to stay on a schedule so that, you can do that, so that my videos aren't just popping up anytime. And so just so you know, the schedule I try to hold on to is that Monday through Friday, I upload the videos so that when I leave for work in the morning, it's around 7 o'clock in the morning, I publish the video that I have uploaded overnight. So while I'm sleeping, my video is uploading. Then when I get up in the morning, all I have to do is click the publish button and the video goes live, which is usually around 7 o'clock in the morning. And that's what I try to do Monday through Friday, so that every day you can expect my video for that day will be uploaded by 7 o'clock that morning. It will be live for you to view. And on Saturday and Sunday, I typically, because I have things to do during the day, I typically don't get around to doing the video till around 4 or so in the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. And so I shoot the video, and then it takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to upload a 30-minute video, because I have DSL, digital cable. I don't have, fiber optic or anything. So it takes about 3 hours. So typically on Saturday and Sunday, you won't see the video for that day being uploaded and going live until usually around 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. So my video comes up pretty late in the evening on Saturday and Sunday. But Monday through Friday, the goal is to have the video uploaded by 7 o'clock or so in the morning when I'm leaving. Now, every now and then I run into a problem, and that's what happened this Thursday. That's what happened. I started recording the video, or uploading the video. When I went to bed, I put the video up, start loading it, and at some point I lost internet connection. It only takes just a second. You lose internet connection, and I do connect wireless, so I lost internet connection. If you lose internet connection during a YouTube video upload, it stops the upload, and even if you get connection again, the video won't continue to upload. It's in pause mode. It stops, and you can't continue it. You have to literally dump whatever you have and re-upload. So when I got up Thursday morning to click publish and publish the video to make it go live, I got up this morning and the video was about 45 minutes into being uploaded, less than a third of the way, and it was stuck there. So when I left for work this morning, I had to simply just completely re-upload the video, so it didn't get uploaded until probably sometime early afternoon, and I wasn't able to click publish to make it go live until almost 8:30 in the evening when I got home. So anyway, things like that, sometimes out of my control, do happen from time to time, but the goal is on Monday through Friday to have the videos published and ready to go by 7 o'clock in the morning, and on Saturday and Sunday it's usually later in the evening, somewhere around 9 or 10 o'clock before the videos go live. So anyway, that's just so you know, if you're one of those people that some people just, I think, watch my videos when they get around to it, but I know there are certain people that expect my videos to be up at a certain time because they have a schedule and they like to watch my videos maybe when they're having breakfast or having lunch or what have you. And so I apologize if I mess any of you up. Sometimes things happen beyond my control, and so that's kind of a bummer, but hopefully in the future I'm going to be able to do something a little different I'm hoping to get more into streaming the video, streaming it live, and then just having it go up live when I do it. And that's the way to solve that problem. So that's something I'm working on for the future. I'm also working on cleaning out my spare bedroom, which is now a junk room, and turning it into a little studio, and working on the aesthetics a little bit, and also the way I arrange my videos. You have to remember, when I first started doing these videos, I never had any intention of really, you know, I wasn't thinking about the long-term sort of idea. I was just had a couple things on my mind, particularly the Seth Rich thing and some other things that I just wanted to do some videos on, and I really wasn't planning on doing a daily type video. This all happened when Trump tweeted out that he was being wiretapped, and I saw this situation, and I thought, wow, this reminds me a lot of Watergate. And so I decided to make a daily video diary, which is what TowerGate is. It's a daily video diary of the events that unfolded from the time Trump claimed he was wiretapped, till whenever the end of this thing, when we get to the end of this thing, which I think will be when we see many individuals charged with capital crimes for surveillance based on politics in the former administration, going to the highest levels of the Obama government. That's what I believe that this will all end up producing. I don't believe it'll produce anything having to do with Russia leaking, Russia Trump, or any of this type of stuff. I believe ultimately we will find that the Russians didn't hack the DNC, that Seth Rich actually was the one who leaked the information to a third party or directly to WikiLeaks. And I believe that we will eventually get to the point where we will be looking at the surveillance issue conducted by the Obama administration, obviously not just on Trump and people around him relating to the campaign for political reasons, but a wider investigation I think is going to be taken on, looking at just the surveillance in general, because you had what was happening within the Obama administration, the surveillance of Trump and his team for political reasons, but you also have the intelligence communities acting on their own, conducting quite a good deal of general surveillance on all sorts of people, clear violations of the Fourth Amendment. So I think those are two separate issues. But I do think that this is what we'll eventually find, and this is what TowerGate is. TowerGate is a daily diary of events that are playing out day by day, so that when this whole thing comes to a head, which may be a year or two, maybe 3 years down the road, at some point I'll be able to look back and have a daily diary of exactly what events transpired as this entire thing played itself out. So now that I got those things out of the way, again, as I said when I started this video, I will admit when I got something wrong, and I said that I didn't think anything really would come out of these hearings, but obviously today there were several things I would consider fairly decent-sized bombshells. None of them had anything to do with Trump-Russia collusion. None of them had anything to do really even with Russia hacking the elections or anything like that. The biggest things that were learned today are the following. We learned that James Comey, maybe the reason he was having so many problems finding the leaker is because he himself was a leaker. In fact, James Comey admitted today in those hearings that he leaked classified information. We also learned that the Attorney General Lynch did obstruct justice by essentially ordering, if you listen to Comey's testimony, ordering that Comey not use the word investigation to describe the investigation, or not to use the word probe, but rather to describe the word, the investigation, as the little matter. He also talked about the fact that the meeting on the plane between Lynch and Clinton, Bill Clinton, definitely had a major impact on his decision to come out and make the statement. He also said that at that point he also strongly began to feel that there should be a special prosecutor named at that point, but he went on to explain why he thought, on the other hand, maybe that's not a good idea. So anyhow, these are fairly large bombshells. We also had a major thing. I think that if you have not watched the questioning, it's about 8 or 9 minutes of questioning by John McCain of James Comey. I highly suggest that you pull up that YouTube video. There's several people that have YouTubed it, And it's extraordinary. It's an extraordinary thing to watch. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, and there will be no doubt in your mind, if you watch the questioning of John McCain today of James Comey, that John McCain is clinically senile. The man is senile. And what's extraordinary about his questioning of James Comey, he's sitting there asking questions if he's, and again, if you watch, his questions, and it's not just today in the hearings, but just the whole position John McCain is taking, when in fact it was John McCain who went to James Comey and personally gave him the dossier. It was a bunch of BS. Yet we get John McCain sitting back acting like he's some sort of guy out on the fringe somewhere wanting to understand more about all what was going on. When this entire thing, this entire investigation, a lot of it had to do, according to James Comey, with the dossier. And it was John McCain who hand-delivered the dossier to James Comey. Yet John McCain sits back and acts like, that he's a spectator in all this. No, he was a participant. He was a key player. He played a key role. He gave the dossier to Comey, which Comey used to get the FISA warrant, which the Attorney General also bid on it and approved the FISA warrant. And then all the surveillance based on all of that investigation all happened. All based on the dossier, which was complete garbage and given to Comey by John McCain. Yet John McCain sits there and acts like he's a spectator in all this. But you've got to watch the questioning of John McCain and James Comey. It was quite embarrassing. There comes a time when at some point the other people around John McCain, his wife, his daughter, his doctor, people around him have to go to him at some point and say, John, it's time to go. It's time to go. He is clearly clinically senile. He couldn't organize his thoughts. He couldn't remember President Trump's name. He was trying to ask these questions to Comey, and even Comey was confused. Comey kept trying to explain to John McCain on 3 different times. He said, no, separate investigations. Hillary's email investigation, one thing. Russia, another thing. Trump-Russia collusion, another thing. 3 different things going on here. McCain kept getting all confused in his head and going, oh, well, I'm confused because you ended one investigation and came to a conclusion, and but we still have this other investigation. You reached a conclusion here, but you didn't here. I mean, it's like, where's he going with all this? It's like, what's going on in his head? You could see that John McCain was clearly confused in his own mind, and even said, I'm confused. I'm confused. And then James Comey looks at him and goes, yeah, well, I'm confused about your question. And he tried to clear it up for McCain and go, no, it's Hillary's emails are a different investigation from Trump collusion, and they're both different from Russia hacking. I mean, this is different things. But McCain couldn't grasp it. He continued to want to plunge forward with this series of questions that he couldn't even organize in his own mind. It was very embarrassing. I'm sure it was embarrassing for the people in the room, embarrassing for the media covering it, embarrassing for his colleagues sitting around him watching old John McCain in a state of senility trying to be a questioner that you could even take seriously. It's quite embarrassing. You should watch it. It's quite embarrassing. So yes, Comey also, a couple things that I'll note too. Comey essentially lied. He was just asked not more than a couple of weeks ago by Senator Grassley in the Senate hearings. He was asked if he had ever leaked information. Rogers was asked, Brennan was asked, and Comey was asked. And Clapper was asked, did you ever leak classified information? Did you ever leak anything to the media? Comey said no. But he said today, right there in the hearings, he said that he leaked to his friend at Columbia University, and the reason he did it was to try to get a special prosecutor appointed. And he said the reason that he leaked this stuff that he had written down to his friend at Columbia University for the purpose of getting it out to the media was based on a tweet. But after the Comey hearing, Trump's lawyer came out and made a statement where he clearly points out that Comey stating that he did this because of Trump's tweet is a lie, because Trump's tweet happened the day after the leak came out. So once again, it's Comey lying. He's trying to decide what to say and how to say it because he's in a minefield. He doesn't know what may come back and bite him in the rear end later. But he bit himself in the rear end today because he basically used as a premise for his leak a tweet which didn't occur until the day after the leak occurred. And of course, that's easy to prove. We can look at the date of the tweet. We can look at the date of the leak, which appeared first in the New York Times and then got picked up by everybody else. And Comey admits in the hearings. Now, this particular conversation would be considered classified. So Comey himself, no wonder he couldn't find the leakers. He was too busy leaking classified information himself for political reasons to try to get the media all charged up and try to get members of Congress all charged up to call for a special prosecutor. It was James Comey working kind of off on the sideline, throwing another ball into the air, putting another ball into play, hoping that it would produce something that he thought may end in Trump's impeachment. So that's very interesting. And let's get back to Loretta Lynch. Comey said that she attempted to persuade him to refer to Hillary's email investigation, not as an investigation or a probe, but as a little matter. And Comey said in his questioning that he felt pressured by that. In fact, I believe the word he said is he felt queasy after Lynch's suggestion. And he said to her basically, well, he said, what's kind of weird about that, Attorney General, is that the Clinton campaign and all her people who are working for her and folks in the left-wing media that support her keep using various words to describe what's going on. We do investigations at the FBI. She keeps using this word, security review. Other people keep using other types of words, and now you want me, as the FBI director, to go out and use the language of the campaign. That is getting a little bit too close to making the FBI part of the Clinton campaign. And essentially, after Comey said that to Loretta Lynch, she looked at him, and remember, she is his boss, and she looked at him and she said, refer to it as a matter. That's an order. That is an obstruction of justice by Loretta Lynch. And I can assure you that in the days to come, this will not go unnoticed. I can assure you in the days to come, you will be hearing many Republicans, certainly, who are going to be all over that, and they're going to be calling for Loretta Lynch to come in and testify as to exactly what was going on with that. Because we also know about the leak from WikiLeaks, where she stated that she would not prosecute Hillary Clinton under any circumstances, no matter what Comey turned up. And so now we have this as well. And of course we still have Loretta Lynch's complicity in the FISA warrant for the dossier. We still have a lot of questions as to what role Lynch may have played in surveillance, unmasking, and various other things. So Loretta Lynch, I can assure you, is going to be getting a subpoena to testify, and it'll be interesting to see how she handles that. It'll also be very interesting to see if Mr. Mueller digs into Loretta Lynch a little bit to see what he can find. There's a lot there, believe me. Comey admitted today in the hearings that Trump was never under investigation and that he informed Trump of that there was never any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Sure, he had the dossier given to him by John McCain, and that very same type of information was coming to him in bits and pieces through his field agents in Paris, who were speaking to the exact same person who gave Trump the dossier. It was the exact same man, feeding different people the exact same stuff. So that Comey, it would look to him like, oh wow, my sources in Paris have got a source and they're telling me this. Now I get this dossier, And man, that's kind of weird that we're getting these separate. But as it turns out, it was Christopher Steele who was speaking to his surrogates, the FBI surrogates in Paris, and it was Christopher Steele who gave the dossier to McCain. That's why it all seemed to match up. And you got to wonder how naive James Comey is to have bought into that. And you got to wonder, why he would launch a FISA warrant and why Loretta Lynch would sign off on the FISA warrant based on such a document with such flimsy evidence. That is a question she certainly needs to answer, and it's a question that hasn't been dug into too much with Comey, but I'm suspect eventually it will be revisited because this issue continues on about the surveillance, and when we get back to the surveillance issue, you're going to get back to the root of the surveillance, which is one of the roots of the surveillance, which is the dossier. So this issue will be revisited, believe me. Comey also says that he admitted that Loretta Lynch tried to suppress the investigation into Hillary Clinton by reframing what the investigation was. It's very interesting words that he used there. He also said that he was confused and concerned by Lynch's request. So this is the things that we learned. So as I said, there was no bombshells about Trump-Russia, other than the fact that we learned there was never even enough evidence to even produce an investigation, or never was a Trump-Russia investigation by the FBI. We learned that it's funny because the Democrats were already accept that. They understand there's no evidence of that. So then they tried to move into this idea that, Trump tried to force you to stop investigating Flynn. And while James Comey said he felt that that's what Trump was trying to get him to do, he never actually came out and gave him a direct order. He never took any actions that would have impeded the investigation or stopped the investigation. He just simply, as Comey said in his own words, said, hey, during dinner, Trump said, hey, Flynn's a good guy. He's taking a lot of heat. A lot of this stuff is keeping me from moving forward with my agenda. I think it would be good if you could see your way clearer just to, let this Flynn thing go. Meaning, basically, there's not a whole lot there. There's nothing there, really. He forgot to fill out a piece of paper saying he was representing Turkey, the country of Turkey, a NATO ally, as a lobbyist, or essentially lobbying for the government of Turkey, which is not against the law. It's just that you're supposed to file a federal form, which he did not do. And that's the extent of what Michael Flynn did that could be criminally negligible, but it's probably a misdemeanor. The reason Flynn was fired is because he had a conversation with the vice president and didn't disclose a couple of things specifically. Probably certainly didn't disclose this money he received for giving the speech at the RT dinner, and he also essentially didn't mention that he was doing lobbying work for the government of Turkey. But essentially what we're dealing with Michael Flynn is essentially misdemeanors. But the left-wing media wants you to believe that somehow this is all about Flynn colluding with Russians, working as a go-between to rig the elections against Hillary for Trump. I mean, this is all just insanity. It's a conspiracy theory that has no value, has no evidence or anything else. It's been debunked and disproven time and time again, but this is all they've got. But as I said, the Democrats are going to come to regret gratefully that they pushed for these hearings, because today, what they were all canceling soap operas, they were all doing their big countdown to get to the big Comey hearings, believing there would be some great revelation. And of course, yes, there was great revelations today, but the biggest thing that came out of the hearings today was not Trump trying to pressure Comey into not investigating the Flynn connection or a connection of people around Trump having, some sort of connection to Russians. The biggest thing that came out today really was the Loretta Lynch obstructing justice. Loretta Lynch telling Comey to back off the Hillary investigation, telling Comey to change the way he talked about the investigation, and she actually did use force of her words and her position as his boss. As he explained in the hearings, after he told her, hey, I don't really think it would be very good if the FBI starts going out and mimicking the language of Hillary's political campaign. That wouldn't be very good. And then she just replied by looking back at him and saying, it's refer to it as a matter. And so that is essentially a direct order by his boss, and essentially an order for him to obstruct the investigation. That's the biggest thing that came out today. And the fact that Comey admitted that he leaked classified information. And the fact that he lied just a couple of weeks ago in the Senate hearings when Charles Grassley asked him if he'd ever leaked information, and he said no. Today he admitted he did. And John McCain is nuts. He's senile, clinically senile. He's crazy. So these are the biggest things that came out today. But as you can see, after today, there's really not much left for the media, the liberal media, for the Democrats. This was pretty much everything that they had been working themselves up to. They were really hoping to get a smoking gun, to get Comey to come out and say that Trump somehow leaned on him or used some sort of pressure or some force of his position to stop investigating the Trump-Russia thing. That, in fact, did not happen. In fact, the very opposite happened. Comey actually said that during the course of the conversation, Trump mentioned that the whole Russia thing was creating a problem, which it's in fact, there's no doubt about that. He's just simply stating a fact. And he was urging Comey to get it over with, to do the investigation, to get it over with. And he even told Comey, he said, hey, and if you find out that the word he used, according to Comey, was satellites, meaning people around him, Trump even told Comey, hey, if you find there are people around me, people on my team or what have you, that are in some sort of a collusion with Russia or trying to do something like that, I want to know about it. So I do want you to find that out. Yes, do that investigation. But whatever you do the damn investigation and get it over with. He was only telling Comey he didn't want to see the thing just dragging on and on and on and on. It's like this thing has been going on and on and on. It's in the papers every day. It's beginning to cause a real problem with me getting my agenda through. It's all they talk about on the left media. And this ball just staying in the air. It's time to either prove or disprove that me or anyone in my campaign had anything to do with working with the Russians, colluding with the Russians to, change the election or affect the election or anything like that. That's the only thing Trump said. And essentially, what James Comey did today was vindicate President Trump. And as he was vindicating President Trump, he was at the same time indicting Loretta Lynch for obstruction of justice. We'll see if the liberal media picks up on that. I can assure you that people like Trey Gowdy in the House Intelligence Committee probably, when he watched that, because he was probably watching the hearings, he probably hit the ceiling. I mean, he probably went nuts. He probably thought, what did I just hear? Holy smoke, rewind that. Let me hear that one more time. What did he just say? And that's as close as you can get. I mean, that's nailing it. It is essentially the Attorney General ordering her employee, the FBI director, to manipulate the nature of his investigation. And of course, we have the email from Loretta Lynch, thanks to WikiLeaks, where she's basically stated that there's no circumstances in which she's going to launch an investigation, criminal investigation, or special prosecutor, or anything like that, or a criminal indictment against Hillary Clinton, no matter what James Comey finds, no matter how many thousands of classified emails that she had on her illegal server. So Loretta Lynch is a person who I can absolutely guarantee you, if she wasn't on the list to be subpoenaed before, she surely is now. And I assume that Loretta Lynch was probably watching these hearings today too, and I can just about guarantee you that she hit the ceiling as well for a different reason. And I can assure you that she probably has already made that appointment with her attorney to sit down and figure out exactly how she's going to deal with this situation, because quite honestly, James Comey put the noose around her neck today. And Trump's a free man. The Russia collusion story is essentially, now you can call it dead. There's nowhere for it to go. There's nowhere for that story to move any further, and it's going to fall away to the wayside. And now we're going to be focusing on Loretta Lynch and her obstruction. We're going to be focusing on the leakers, which they are looking very hard at getting these leakers. And I assume once the new FBI director gets into his position, he will immediately go to work on it. We have the Dennis Montgomery whistleblower, who's now going to have his case heard in federal court, and James Comey is going to be a criminal defendant in that one. So James Comey will also be busy lawyering up. This time, instead of being a witness, he will be a defendant, a criminal defendant. There'll be other people who will be criminal defendants. And of course, we're going to get into the only real story that actually has any basis in fact, any real evidence, any real hard evidence, and that is the illegal surveillance for political reasons by the Obama administration, and the larger issue of surveillance by the entire intelligence community that is unlawful and is a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment. And both the committees, in fact all three committees, the oversight, both the House and Senate Intelligence Committees, are going to be looking at these matters. And you can be assured that from now on, when these hearings move forward, and they will continue to move forward at a slow pace, but they will move forward, and you can be assured that now that Robert Mueller is investigating this situation, a lot of these facts have now been aired out. And it is obvious at this point that there really won't be very much to investigate in regards to Trump-Russia. There'll be very little to investigate in terms of Russia hacking the election, because that would require Mueller and other people doing things that they probably don't want to do, and the Democrats certainly don't want them to do, because they would have to get the DNC servers, and they would have to interview a lot of DNC officials and Democratic politicians, and probably members of the media. We already know that the Trump administration has recently, in the last week or so, gotten FISA warrants to go back and look at conversations, the electronic surveillance of these journalists who did the leaks, to find out what people they may have been speaking with to get the leaks. We know that Trey Gowdy has identified Samantha Power as having made requests for unmasking and surveillance in the last 2 days of the Obama administration. She is going to have to explain why she did that, particularly when her particular role and function in government had absolutely nothing to do with surveillance and intelligence activity and investigations. So in the future, we've had the dog and pony show, and it's almost like the Republicans have stepped back and said, okay, you Democrats, do you want to push for this, push for this, push for this? I think that the Republicans knew there was never anything really to it, so go ahead and let them have the Russia hearings, let them have the collusion hearings, let them try to do their thing, go ahead. But ultimately, at the end of the day, those things are going to bear no fruit whatsoever. But the other thing that is sort of laying back there in the background, which Democrats have not wanted to talk about, is of course the illegal surveillance on Trump's campaign, and of course the larger surveillance issue, which these Democrats now, who push for all these hearings in the future, when all these people are being called in to testify and be witnesses and things and such, they won't be coming in to talk about Trump-Russia, because that story is a dead dog. And there'll be very little to talk about in terms of Russian hacking, unless Mr. Mueller or other people in the Democratic Party are going to allow themselves to be questioned and investigated, such as people working at the DNC, allowing the DNC servers to be analyzed, and any of this type of stuff. So this whole thing is going to backfire very, very badly on the Democrats. And this is exactly what I predicted would happen, and this is the way that things are moving forward now. So that is my thoughts on the James Comey testimony. I was wrong. I said there will be no major bombshell. It will be a big nothing burger. I was wrong. There actually were several bombshells, and they have absolutely nothing to do with Trump-Russia. And they have everything to do with obstruction of justice by Loretta Lynch, with Comey being a liar and a leaker. Actually, he's a leaker of classified information and a liar. And he probably leaked other things as well. That's just what he admitted to today. So anyhow, that's what we have today for TowerGate. Hopefully, I will not have a failure at an upload of my video tonight, and it will be there. This video will be, you'll be watching this video anytime after 7 a.m. on Friday morning. So hopefully this is your Friday morning TowerGate update. And so I'll be back. Again, you have a happy Friday. Hopefully it's a beautiful Friday for you, and you get off work a little early, and you come home, and you get to do something you want to do. And hopefully y'all have a good weekend. So I'll be back with you. My next video will be coming out on Saturday evening. And so anyway, happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Love reading your comments. And thanks for sharing my videos and all that good stuff. You guys have a good night. Goodbye.